There's been a fair bit of drama on the dusty hillside here in Loudenvielle, France. We've had some unfortunate injuries, some ludicrous displays of bike handling, a little bit of sunburn, and as always, some top tier racing. I'm going to make this one quick as we have to drive 18 hours to Leogang and we need to do it ASAP to get there in time. Also, no time for an up to speed for Leogang next week, so you can think of this as your prep for Leogang in a few days, and it's also starting to rain. As is tradition in the junior women kicked off proceedings with series leader Rosa Marie Jensen out of action after injuring her foot on the first day. Fastest qualifier Eliana Hulsbach got caught out in the dusty conditions when the inside edge of a dust rut took her front wheel and she got slapped into the ground. Luckily she was all good, but couldn't do better than 5th after her tumble. Matilda Melton was an early rider in the racing proceedings who had some strong showings last season without cracking the podium. She made it count today on her run and sat in the hot seat for about 3 minutes and 50 seconds until Lena Frenner sent her way down the hillside and bumped Matilda into an eventual 3rd place finish, which was still her first World Cup medal. Lena's run was super impressive, really aggressive riding from the Norfolk Racing Division rider with some wild moments that did not seem to faze her in the slightest. She finished on the top step by bringing home her first win at her World Cup and the first gold medal for the team, which they were all buzzing about. Rosa Zierl claimed the last step on the podium with a very composed and fluid run which showed her excellent form and control over her bike. This podium finish also makes 2 Rosas on the podium in 2 junior female races. Not sure if there's another Rosa racing in Leogang, but I like her chances. The junior men need to calm the flip down. I flinched more times than I can remember and I had to consciously close my mouth more than once. What the heck did Asa do in that top section? 3.5 seconds faster than the eventual junior winner at Split 2. Also half a second faster than Anne-Marie Pierron. Yeah, it was windy for the elites, but still. Looks like all that wind tunnel testing paid off, and the fact he was one of the only people to send the stall wall must have helped too. It was a shame he crashed, but he was going very fast and he still got 5th. Kind of unbelievable. Max Alran continued his good form from round 1 with a fast and stylish run that very nearly scored him the win on the day. It wasn't to be another win this weekend in France, but it was pretty close, with the top 4 all within a second of each other. I didn't see Max put a wheel wrong apart from the pre-jump scrub at the end of the Red Bull drop where he caught the edge and got a speed wobble on. 3rd place, and we won't talk about the pole at the top. While some people did the damage at the top and other riders did the damage at the bottom, Tyler Waite put the hurt on that whole racetrack. He was very consistent on every single sector and also sent the track gap in the lower woods to absolute flat. Bonus 5 amplitude points for that little number on his way to another 2nd place finish, and you know he's going to get that top spot at some point this year. Bodie Burke just had one of the best runs I've ever witnessed. How is he that strong? He didn't use a single landing ramp the entire way down the track. He took about 10 2-story drops to flat without even flinching. What an absolute hero. But it was that steep sector in the open where he did the damage. I haven't been able to get the individual sector times, but I'm very confident that he will have the fastest time out of everyone between splits 2 and 3. He rode that loose left-hander in the open that took out so many with so much commitment. I bet he made up his 4 seconds just on that. And you know what? Let's ghost him against Jackson. I did the best I could with the Darkfish, but it really didn't like this. But look at Bodie round that corner doing his drift. Jackson was clean and Bodie is slightly in front. Jackson is glitching about all over the place, but Bodie still has just a little bit of an edge. Look at this corner though, because they're super close and Bodie rails around that with a nice consistent flow into the next bit, and then it glitched out and it didn't work. So we're going to skip forward just a tiny bit where I could get it to work again. And they're back at it, and Bodie hooks into this left-hander, doesn't bother setting up, lets the speed run, rips into this right-hander, and at the finish, he makes a 0.2 on the elite winner. Come on. We sadly didn't get to see much of Valley Hall's run, but it looks like she has found some intensity after being absent from the sharp end of the results so far this year. She was not deterred by the strong winds that started causing problems in the elites in the afternoon, and she crushed the first section of the track. Kept it smooth for the second half, and it's awesome to hear that she was stoked and happy with her 2nd place finish, which shows she had to fight for it. Tanny's had a bit of a rough weekend if my second-hand information is anything to go by. Bad crash on day 1, hurt her ankle, bad crash in the morning of the race, or hit her head and then rip a nail off her finger. We saw her get really blown by the heavy winds on the stall wall and she nearly threw it away in the dusty turns after. But to finish on the podium in 3rd on a bad weekend is something she should be happy about, even if the winner was 9 seconds ahead. But what a run the winner laid down. Gracie Hemstreet has been threatening to smash the World Cups wide open for a few years now. We all know she's got the skills and the speed, but it felt like she had to believe that too. Where most of the women were keeping it smooth and cautious in the lower steeps, Gracie was greasing gaps that the boys were finding tricky and slashing into turns like she was looking for speed and not trying to slow things down. It was an unbelievable run that was well deserving of the gold medal and the Norco team's second ever gold. I'll be honest, after watching Bodie's run earlier in the day, I was like, nah, no one's going to go as fast as that. The kid was absolutely hooking, and now there's a headwind up top. Just like life, the big boys always find a way. Honourable mention has to go to Nathan Ponfion, who had that Goodman Santa Cruz bike absolutely singing down that hillside. At one point I thought he was heading into the bushes, he was so sideways over a jump. And then he rode the wildest, heart in your mouth, oh dear God, please don't die speed wobble I've ever seen. At one point it looked like he was going to miss a pole, but he obviously saw the 20 edgy clickbait vids on Polegate we made, and then he tweaked that front wheel on the right side of that marker. Fourth place, awesome result for Nathan and the Goodman team. Jordan Williams has been waiting a very long time to get back from injury and back from the pressure hole that he put himself in after winning his first ever Elite Downhill World Cup at the first time of asking. It's awesome to see him rip his racing red kit down the French hillside, slot himself into his second ever Elite podium in third. Also, he was on my fantasy team, so I'm buzzing. Amaury Pierron was absolutely going. The power and commitment in the loose turns up the top. He was just on the limit. He was yanking on those bars, stamping on those pedals with relentless power, and maybe too much. As he said, he lost composure down the bottom and made mistakes due to fatigue. There was one major mistake that cost him the win. The tricky off-camber right hand or a few turns below the scrub wall. The bike just got away from him when dropping off the wall, and he drifted wide, clipped the base of the tree, which lost him a little bit of crucial momentum. Should we do a quick ghost? Yeah, go on then. Here they come into the section. Amaury loses a bit of control, clips the tree, loses speed. Jackson accelerates out of the corner. He's pulling bike lengths on Amaury. And this speed that Jackson is carrying is going to take him all the way down the next bit. But obviously there's two camera shots, so we stop it here. 0.36 here, but it will be more by the end of the next straight. Today was for Golden Boy Jackson Goldstone. It is genuinely awesome to see that not only can he ride the wave of confidence and results through junior into elite, but he can take a massive injury, sit out an entire season, go through the hardships and doubt of recovery, come back to a mediocre result last week, which could have easily put a big dent in his confidence, and then just do what he just did on the hill earlier today. If you were a betting person, you would not pick a 65 kilogram steep tech shredder to win in Loudenvielle. Half of the track is a flat motorway. But Jackson did just enough up top and absolutely set fire to the lower slopes of that mountain. The way he ripped around some of those turns defies the laws of physics, and you could see the bouncy, adrenaline-fueled hype in his riding that signifies we're in for something special. 1.5 seconds clear of the pack on that track is impressive, and a warning shot to the top dogs that Jackson is a real threat for the series. Hope you enjoyed the racing and the coverage. We've got to go. It's raining. We need to edit this. We've got a long way to go. I'm going to edit in the car. I'm probably going to be sick. Hopefully my laptop won't die, but we'll see you in Leogang. Let's go.